Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, we have discussed about the practical application of CBT and PI-CBT in terms of overcoming problems in terms of psychiatric disorder, psychological problems and medical problems coupled with psychological component in terms of the problems that we face. A lot of them are actually it's a mixed balance. That means there are a lot of drug-based therapy. There are also other alternative therapy. There are also intervention through psychological approach to CBT, MBCT, DBT, and so many other up and coming therapeutic methodology that is now quite widespread all over the world. And we also have discussed about the 10 principles of CBT and how PI-CBT can actually write on these 10 principles. We add one more principle or two more principles in terms of maybe, as the last one I've mentioned about the nature of consciousness. That in Islam we believe in the 4 levels of consciousness in terms of spiritual, emotional, mental and physical, that we exist not only in this world but also our consciousness exists beyond this world. So the therapeutic approach is more permanent in the sense that, and we have hopeful of our life in this world and hopeful of our wonderful life beyond there. And that can be a very powerful motivator and tool for us to use to develop PI-CBT. And also the aspect of intention, which is very important in Islam, because everything in Islam begins with niyat. Every amal that we do, we start with niyat. So it is also very important for us to incorporate this as one of the basic principles. What is our niyat? And I will explain that when we develop the framework of our methodology for PI-CBT. But today I'm just going to discuss about, there's so many modalities now, it's quite confusing. We see in this so-called modern world, we have so many modalities because, for example, for CBT alone, there's about 20 to 30 offshoot of CBT, each claiming they have an improved version and so on, which is okay. I mean, this is the whole idea of research and development. So like mindfulness is developed by those in Oxford University and other universities and so on. So MCBT, all right, or the other therapy like DBT by Masha Lingman and her team at another university and so on. So this is good. But if we are going to just discuss how are we going to fit into this network of methodology or therapeutic methods that is being used in terms of psychological problems, then we would have to find some ways. Okay, so I have listed about 19 type of problems. So how PI-CBT uses all modality, including CBT, because this is in our book, Positive Islamic Psychology, a Transcendent Model to Achieve Peace, Happiness and Success. You want to know more of this, then you go back to our book. Remember, always purchase this book, either the soft copy online or the hard copy. Inshallah, we're selling it for $30, but not excluding, that is excluding the courier charges or the mail charge, because in certain areas that we send, for example in Nigeria, the cost of sending this book is so expensive. All right, so $30 is for the basic book because hardcover. All right, 600 plus pages, very nicely done. So you can use this hardcover and use it as a reference and handbook for you to develop your own modality and doing your research in terms of your own approach to Islamic psychology, because this is the first book in terms of positive Islamic psychology, a transcendent model to achieve peace, happiness and success in the Muslim world. All right, which is we are trying our level best to come out with a series of books. One of these will be this PI-CBT handbook that we're going to develop in future. So how are we going to see this? For example, if we take all kind of psychological problems, phobias, behavior problems and so on, we can list them out into many fields, but I'm just taking about 19 of them. All right, and how PI-CBT, we use PI-CBT as our base, but it may not be enough. So some of this we have to use drug-based intervention, psychiatric intervention, even surgery, all right, for certain approach towards psychological problems. So for example, if we take simple phobia, so we can use PI-CBT as our base. We also can include, for example, behavior therapy, relaxation therapy, coping skills training, which is very important. So if we have, for example, in our mosque, we are going to teach some of our people to overcome through coaching and mentoring, because as we have mentioned that we have developed the certified coach program that we are going to have in the 4 areas of development, then they can help in this teaching. We train them in the coping strategies using Islamic methodology. For example, we have social phobia. We can use cognitive behavior therapy, relaxation, and coping skill. For example, cognitive delay in children development, childhood development. That means here we have to be more intense because it has to be first multi-system family-based early intervention. So if we find a child having dyslexia or having problems in terms of learning, ADHD and so on, then how are we going to do it? It cannot be left to the therapists, it cannot be left to the teachers, but the family intervention is very important. So we always bring in multi-system family-based intervention program, including home visit, child stimulation, parents training and support, all right, parent-child session, co-joint session to promote secure attachment and so on. So many of these things that has to be done because this is a major problem in a lot of families, especially in the Muslim world, because of the lack of nutrition, because of the lack of bonding, and parents are absent because they are working overseas and left with their grandparent and so on. So there are many psychological problems related to delay in childhood development, which we have to intervene very early, because if you lose them, then all throughout their life, they will then be at a disadvantage. We have adjustment problem in children. This is very, very huge. What is? Adjustment problem in children with autism, ADHD, intellectual disability, sensory disability, behavioral problems. So again, this is a very big issue in the Ummah, not only in the whole world, especially in the more advanced countries. I mean, in the Western world, this is going out of control. The teachers cannot control the children anymore. All right. So how are we going to approach it? So this is a major problem that is actually disrupting the whole family system and social system in many advanced countries and also in the poor countries. So what are we going to do? We're going to have multi-system, family-based, school-based early intervention, applied behavioral analysis, structured learning principles, speech and language remedial therapies, because a lot of them may have problems in terms of speech and language, child management skills training, social problem-solving skills training, drug intervention, and so on. So all these are psychosocial kind of intervention, and this in terms of the work that we need to do in terms of the social organization, NGO, mosque, surau, and all that, we can train them, because this problem cannot be left just to the government or to the schools to handle, because this is a very huge problem throughout the world. So if we can use part CBT and apply all these things together with it, then you can see you have a holistic modality towards overcoming the problem. We have teenage problem. This is exploding, all right? Teenage problem. How are we going to solve teenage problem? Where the hormones are just racing and they're doing reckless thing, getting into drugs addiction, getting into dangerous sex, getting into all kind of problems. So how are we going to tackle that? Yes, we use PI-CBT, but we're going to have peer-led school-based programs involving psycho-education. We've got to give them psycho-education. We've got to give them coping skills, problem-solving skills, family therapy, and also many other approach in terms of development of sports, achievement-centered living, and so on. There's so many other interventions, inshallah, which we will develop together with a lot of the researchers who join us, because this is the greatest problem that is facing the Ummah, because in some countries, you pass through the whole teenage years in a very difficult situation, and post that you don't even have a job, which is even more depressive and more problematic. That is another area in which we have to tackle. We have panic disorder and agoraphobia. Okay, these are the phobia. We use PI-CBT, relaxation technique, and coping skills. OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So we have to use PI-CBT, and we have to approach various modalities in terms of behavior therapy, family support, and coping skills. Depression, there are so many modalities in depression now, because the whole idea of anxiety and depression is so big. So inshallah, PI-CBT with many others approach in terms of interdisciplinary approach, inshallah, can overcome the problem. GAD, post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD. We have also problems in terms of schizophrenia and bipolar mood disorder. So here we have to use drug-related therapy, for example, multimodal treatment involving psychiatric drug intervention, family therapy, PI-CBT, CBT, social skills training, integration into society, and adjustment modalities that we can bring them into society so that they can be useful citizens and a good person, even though they have this very severe bipolar or mood swing or problems regards to their schizo problem. We have also a very big problem in terms of alcohol and drug addiction. Now we have not only alcohol, drug addiction, we have pornography addiction through a lot of this social media, which is developing a very severe problem. Addiction in the sense that they cannot live one day without even looking at all those pornographic material, and also is leading to very severe in terms of abnormal sex behavior, which is now is spreading worldwide. So we have to really find a way out, because this is one problem in which the whole media and the industry is riding on the weakness of human being. We are developing a whole society based on sex. So it is sex that sells. You want to sell a product, you use the face of a beautiful woman. The more naked they are, the better it is. So they are moving to the direction that it's become obscene. It becomes very addictive. So this is where the problem, we are not talking about drugs, we are not talking about alcohol, we are talking about video games, we are talking about pornography, we are talking about so many addictive activities that we can see it will be very severe. I've seen some of them using this 3D goggle, and they go almost into a trance, all right, using this 3D goggle to chase whatever they chase in their video game. So this is I think is going to damage their brain so severely that they cannot function in the normal world in the future. So this is a problem that I think the government of the world must try to find a way out, because it's not a simple problem. But if we are going to intervene, then there's a lot of intervention in terms of family support, societal support, psychological therapies, and so on. All right, we have psychosocial problem, relationship problem, bulimia, anorexia, insomnia, chronic pain management, and other social problems. So all these things shows that it is always multidisciplinary, multi-modal approach. And PI-CBT is one of the approach. So we will not claim that, oh, we are the only one, you use this only and that's it. No. We will use all the good research and development done, for example, in terms of the new drugs that can be used as an intervention. Also, we can also go back to the history of, for example, Islamic medicine. In the past, we also use herbs, which are psychotropic. For example, we use opium, we use cannabis, we use mushrooms, we use so many other those things that actually can resurface through a very controlled environment, because a lot of these mood altering herbs or biological products, natural biological products, are useful only if we are not going to abuse it. So there are many ways in which, inshallah, if we can develop with governmental assistance to go back to natural remedies, because a lot of the mood swing, there are many proven herbs that can actually adjust the mood and also change the situation so that we can have intervention, so that we can delay or even stop using artificial drug. I'm not saying that we should not use artificial drug, because the drug companies spend billions of dollars developing the drug. But a lot of them have very severe side effect, and it is also themselves very addictive. So there are many research in which we can do. What I'm trying to explore is all the possibilities that if you as a Muslim, you want to learn about post-Islamic psychology, you want to learn about post-Islamic cognitive behavior therapy, you also must have a multidisciplinary team to work with you, so that you can have a herbal specialist, a TCM specialist, an Ayurveda specialist, working together, because we have to have a holistic system of treating the whole human being. Remember, our approach by CBT is we're talking about SEMP, our spiritual realm, our heart, our emotion, our akal, our physical. All of them must be integrated in terms of the therapy. There must be coherence, there must be integration, and there must be synergy. And if we can do all that, we heal the person. That is the whole goal. And naturally, our intention is to be sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing it for to seek His grace, His mercy, His love, and helping human beings as we are brothers and sisters, and helping each other to make this world good, helping others to be good, making the world good for all the creatures of Allah, inshallah.